So in the previous video, we set up our zones and made them functional. So whenever this door is open, we will go ahead and go through and activate uh, the corresponding zones that are linked to the barricade. So the problem is, well, what I had mentioned is we can do a little bit of optimization. So for example, whenever we activate a new zone, what we do is we loop through all of the zones. We check if the zone number matches the zone that the spawn point corresponds to, as well as we check if it's active. Well, one thing that we can do that's going to help it improve is once we do and actually set it to active, like the spawn point to active, we can remove it from our zombie spawn points array. So currently we're using the isActive check as a way of, which we might end up using in the future, so I'm going to leave it. We use it to essentially run in the place of removing it from the array. So let's say we have two doors. I'm actually going to do this. So I'm going to duplicate this door. And let's say we have a bunch of spawn points. So do 2, 3, 4, 5. Then do, let's see, let's change this one. Do barricade 2, which is this door here. Then do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we have 10 total spawn points. These these 5 are going to be linked to this door, and these 5 are going to be linked to this door. So when I open this door, what it's going to do, it's going to loop through all 5 of these, all 10 of these, and set these 5 to active. So meaning it's doing 10 iterations through it's looping 10 times and running the code. Then when I open this door, it's also going to run 10 times. So it's going to loop through all of these as well, which have just been set to active and are in use. Well, if they're active and in use, we don't need them in our array to loop through. There's no point in having that, it's just wasting performance. So what we want to do, instead of making it so when we open this door, it runs 10 times because of all these, we want it to only run 5 times for just these. And it's not going to seem like much now, but if we have, a gigantic map with a ton of just spawn points littered everywhere, it could start to make a difference. So we confirm that these are on the right barricade, which they seem to be. Yep, so we are good to go and ready to get started. So we're going to do something a little bit strange here. First off, I want to actually print out the number of zones. So what I'm going to do is I want to get a control variable. So I'm just going to do an int control equals 0. And I'm actually going to go ahead and print them out to show you what I'm talking about. So now let's do a UE log. Let's see, loop count and print out control. And then we want to increment control on each run. So this will give us a good kind of baseline. I'm going to bring up Notepad and just write them down. Ignore that, that's from math homework. Okay, let's give it a try. So we should have it, I believe it should print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 until it hits 9. So press F, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0 through 9. So 0 through 9, and 0 through 9 on the second run. So first, second, and this is going to be our kind of a baseline. So now let's fix it, well, improve it. So what we're going to be doing is, instead of looping, we're going to have to change the for loop to kind of be a more manual one instead of a for each. But instead of looping starting from the beginning, we're going to be starting from the and working our way to the end. We're going to be starting from the end and working our way to the beginning. So for example, let's say we have an array of 5 elements. We start out on element 0, then we go to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. An array of 10 elements, but we want to remove 5, we go to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, we want to remove this one. So we remove element 5. Well, when we do that, everything to the right of element 5 gets shifted left 1. So element 6, whatever that is now in element 5's slot in that array. So let's say it's already removed, so we're going to be going 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Since we remove 5, we go right to 7. So we're jumping right over 6, and we're going to be running out of the range because the array size has shrunk. And that's just kind of how it is with T arrays. So we're going to change this up to be a normal for loop, not a for each. So I'm going to copy this setup for spawn point and paste it in here and change this up. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to do a int 16 just as that precaution in case it runs, below the amount for uint. So x, and I'm going to set it to be equal to zombie spawn points dot num -1. And then I'll kind of explain this as I go. Then we're going to go ahead and check for our condition. It's going to be x is greater than or equal to 0. Then we're going to subtract x. So we want to set our spawn point to be equal to something. So we're going to set it to equal zombie spawn points at index x, like so. And then once everything has been set, we determine, okay, we want to activate this. We are going to remove it. So we're going to do zombie spawn points dot remove at, where we're going to remove index x, like so, and compile. Okay, now let's give it a try and see how many elements we have to run through at the very end. Go ahead and play. We have 0 through 9. And I did not see any print on that. I'm going to temporarily disable the spawning, or let's see, instead I'm just going to remove the spawning zombies log. So that way it's easier to read. Okay, let's give this another quick test. All right, 0 through 9. And loop count does not repeat. I got to change the zone. So this door here is set to 1, just like this door. I want to set this door to equal zone 2. So that was my fault. So we open this one, and I got to clear the log so I can just show it clearly. So we have 0 through 9, and we have 0 through 4. So we have 5 elements total. So we started with 10, which was these over here, and then we were left with 5. So these over here. So at first it's 0 through 9, so 10 total elements, then 0 through 4, 5 total elements. And that's what we wanted. So out of curiosity, this also has an option to disable shrinking. So I want to do a quick test real quick. So count, set that to 1, allow shrinking, false. And I'm just going to be curious and see what happens when I do this. Because we might be able to improve it just slightly more. So that way my thought is, instead of shrinking as each element gets removed, so 0 through 9, 0 through 4. So I have no idea what it does then, but I'm just going to change it back. So anyways, now we have a slightly more efficient spawn setup. So I'm happy with that. And this should hopefully help us out a little bit for anyone if they make their own custom map, where the spawning starts to get kind of crazy, where you have several hundred spawns and you're looping through the spawn points just constantly and doing checks on them. That way, as you open doors, there will be less and less that you have to loop through. So, now that that system's out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and remove all of these, like so, and just set this back to one single spawn point. And it should still be linked, which it is. So that's good. That's what we want. And now that that is dealt with, I will see you in the next one.